How do everyone, and welcome back to Royville in 4-color one-shot. My name is Stefan, and without further ado, let's get into today's issue. Today I have for you Justice League Dark number 9, with Etrigan, the demon, on the cover, not looking too happy. The demon no more. So, once again, we're led by the Dream Team here. So we have Tinian, Martinez, Buno, Fernandez, and Anderson. And once again, really loving their work. I think they really work well together. So we start this issue with Khalid Nasser, who was freed by Dr. Langstrom, Man-Bat, in the last issue. He's talking to him about how kind of a lot of this started. He was in the Tower of Fate because Khalid used to be one with the Helm, and for a brief time, Dr. Fate himself. He was awakened and went and saw Kent Nelson, who was a previous owner of the Helm, walking through the halls almost in some kind of fugue state. He gets to the Helm, picks it up, and Khalid realizes that it is no longer Kent because they act differently. They hold themselves differently. And the person in charge of the body was Naboo. He creates some sort of teleportation ritual and is gone. He says that with Naboo in control, he did some kind of rip in the fabric of reality. Not exactly sure if that's the rip that we see in a previous issue or not. More to come, most likely, later. Then we go to Mira, where all the refugees from last issue are hanging out with the Lords of Order. Now, the Lords of Order are ancient individuals that are now, their physical bodies are long since dead, but their essences, their mind, their ego resides in artifacts, boots, helms, cloaks, gauntlets, that kind of thing. And they have taken over individuals and have come to basically destroy Mira and a lot of other of the spheres of the magical dimensions. They get into an argument with Bobo, who kind of tries to stick up to them with the Sword of Night. He is the protector of Mira, and he literally says, "Get off my lawn." Well, that doesn't work very well with individuals calling themselves the Lords of Order and floating in front of everybody. They basically kind of sarcastically insult Bobo, this inferior creature that now has immortality and has an intellect. That's definitely chaos, and as the Lords of Order, they don't like that. So while this is going on, Jason Blood, the host of Etrigan the Demon, steps forward and says that, you might have been dealing with some low-level individuals, but I am a powerful magic user. I have read grimoires and various magical texts for hundreds of years, thousands, and not only am I powerful in that, but one that resides in me is even more powerful. And as he does this, he kind of becomes a flame, and Etrigan, the rhyming demon, appears and is made short work of by the Lords of Order. Not only that, he is ripped by fire out of Jason Blood as he crumbles. Etrigan, the rhyming demon, rhymes that he can't stay anymore, so he has to go back to hell. Does that mean that Jason Blood will soon wither away, for his age is quite advanced? Is he only around because Etrigan was within him, his power, his immortality? It is kind of alluded to, but we don't really pick that up in the rest of the issue. While this is going on, the character Blue Devil, the wayward kind of leader of the Mirren people, Marion, Maid Marion, I'm not sure. The Mirren people is what I'm going to say. Rides up with some of his warriors and is like, what's going on here? We're going to kick some butt. And everyone's like, no. See, this is Naboo, Lords of Order, bad on a high scale, not even in the video scale. So they talk and they say, we got to get out of here. Let's go back to the tower, not the tower, the castle of Mira, so that we can defend ourselves. This place has been attacked by undead and dragons for months. We've been able to fight them off, being in the castle. Let's go there and regroup. While they're doing that, they convince Bobo to transport everybody. But see, the problem is playing right in Naboo's hands right now, because as they're gone, Naboo just kind of looks around and says, all right, well, that's good. Now we can begin what we were going to do here originally with the distractions gone. Yeah, playing right into the villain's hands. It's kind of heroism 101. I'm not exactly sure, but there is kind of a funny scene in that where Blue Devil shows up. He's like, hey, Dr. Fate, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a while. Let's chat. And everybody's kind of looking at Blue Devil, and he's like, crap. Did I miss something? Bobo says, yeah. He the bad guy? Bobo says, yeah. It was just a fun scene, kind of the little interactions with the characters. I think Tinian really kind of sprinkles that in pretty well, and I enjoy it a lot. So from there, we go back to the material world, our world, with Wonder Woman and Zatanna going to an island. Now, I don't know if it's Themyscira. I don't think it is, because it's also desolate, and if it's Themyscira, well, then they really missed something in this story. But I don't think it's Themyscira. However, they do find Circe there, a powerful sorceress that is, in my opinion, probably mostly immortal and god. I think she's a god of some sort. Greek, obviously. So they're talking to her, and when they talk to Papa Midnight, he said that Mordru had talked to the Gold Flame, and then they went to talk to the Gold Flame, who had already been visited, had some tea with the other kind. We probably know how that ended. They ended. However, they were able to find some journals, and were reading them, found out that Mordru had been hanging out with Circe and Zatara, Zatanna's father. They had done some chatting and actually talked about the other kind at one point. So, leaving them to Circe, Zatanna's like, all right, now we're here. I'm getting really, really tired of basically being pushed through this story, pushed through this greater story as if I am just an actor, not an actual participant in the story. It's actually kind of an interesting way to describe it because of a few issues earlier where they talk about the power of stories and stories that are whispered in the dark. I thought that was really interesting, and kind of now starting, it kind of makes me think that they're starting kind of a through line with the power of stories. And I'm really excited to see if they kind of keep expanding on that as the story goes. Cersei very quickly says, it isn't obvious yet who the villain of the story is. But that's where we leave that. Little cliffhanger before the end of the issue. So now we go back to Mira, where everyone is discussing the battle plans and what to do against the Lords of Order. Well, then, a little backstory on powers. When Dr. Fate does a lot of his magic, an Ankh appears. Especially when he's teleporting, he kind of creates a huge one, and then he kind of floats through it, teleports to new locations. Well, this happens at the castle, and everyone kind of starts to freak out a little bit, getting ready for a battle. However, out of the Ankh, the mystical symbol of teleportation, Khalid and Langstrom appear. There's a little bit, very minute part of some rejoicing as a couple more reinforcements came. However, Langstrom, not so much of a reinforcement, but the guy is pretty smart. They are talking about how they need to get ready for the battle against the Lords of Order, and Khalid corrects them with some grave news. If they act quickly, the spheres of the gods can be saved. However, Mira, the magical dimension that most of these individuals call home, is going to be destroyed, cannot be saved. And then you flip to the last page of the issue, and we see the 5 Lords of Order flying over the countryside, and everything underneath them disintegrating. People, buildings, powerful ancient dragons disintegrating as if they were nothing. That's where the issue ends. It's getting bad. Getting worse every time. Wonder where this is going. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to this video. If you like this video, you know what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to like it, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see when others are being released, because we're going through this whole run. And leave a comment. Tell me if you're liking this. Tell me if you think Etrigan and Jason Blood are screwed. All right. And if you could, maybe share the video as well. Thanks everybody once again for watching. And as always, keep reading.